I've been taking Ken around the borough today. In particular, we've been visiting some community projects. The Cafe of Good Hope on Hither Green Lane, run by the Green Mizzen Foundation, and Lewisham Voluntary Care in Forest Hill. Both fantastic projects. Ken had a great time there, hearing about the issues that they're dealing with every day, but also what he would be able to do for that sector if he was elected as mayor again.
What do you think you want to see in a Labour manifesto, what you would want to see a future mayor of London doing, and for you to air some of your problems and your issues, but also some of your suggestions. If Ken is elected next year, I think it's pretty clear that we will be in a tight financial situation, and we want to make sure that we've got the most practical manifesto we possibly can have, and one that will hit the right problems and help the right people. So that's the main purpose.
For the C40, the 40 largest cities on earth, to actually do mass purchasing, bulk purchasing, and drive this agenda forward. Once I lost the leadership of that, wasn't past the Boris because he's basically a climate change denier, went to the mayor to change the use of the shop. And that legislation I talked about, we will propose legislation that gives borough councils the power to use of the shop. And that legislation I talked about, we will propose legislation that gives borough councils the power to define the mix of shops in their shopping centres. And I would trust borough councils to do that, to say we now have enough pubs down this street, we now have enough, betting shops, we now have enough of whatever it is we don't want to see, and we want to see a better mix of shops. And that is something, it's simply about reversing a Thatcher policy. We will promote that legislation, and we will mobilise the support for it, so Tory MPs in London. One crucial thing that I fear will be under threat if Johnson was re-elected is the Freedom Pass, because he stood by my side in the last election, and I pointed out at every single stage, when I voted to introduce it on buses, when I voted to extend it to the tube, right the way through, all those years, Tories have always said we couldn't afford it, they voted against it, and he stood there with a big mock-up Freedom Pass saying, this would be safe with me. And then what's happened since? They voted to raise the age at which you can get it from 60 to 65. There was no public debate, no consultation. We only knew about it when pensions started coming back saying, when it can be passed, I can't have it now. And I think because it is one of the largest items of expenditure in London local government, there will be a real move to abolish our Freedom Pass, which is specifically London, and replace it with just the national scheme, which is only on buses and only after 9:30. And I give my pledge, because I think when I voted to introduce that, it was the single most significant act I ever did, because it transformed. I see it as sort of London waiting for the pension, because the pension doesn't go far enough. I will never allow any erosion of that. If we can find a way to go back to pensions being able to get it at 60, I would. But in answer to your general criticism, why have you gone back? Because you went out, you got a job, you behaved well. And that's the big difference. When I left school, like you did, every kid could get a job. We're now in a society where only 25% youth unemployment. I left the school, I dropped out of school, like most of my kids, I didn't get enough exams going to the sixth form. I went to the Royal Marsden and I got a job as an apprentice technician. To get that job now you need a degree. And I think what's happened in London is working class people who haven't got a degree have been frozen out of a vast array of jobs where everything now you've got a degree. And that's why I think it's important to rebalance the London economy, to actually attract to London the sort of high-tech manufacturing that Germany has kept. And Germany is still exporting manufactured goods to China. And they did it by investing. We should actually be looking at that sort of strategy, because in Germany, unemployment is only 6%. Here in this city, it's 10% already. And I think they can worse and worse. So I do think we have badly failed a generation of young people because there aren't the opportunities that we had. I didn't know an unemployed person in my 20s. Every one of my friends left school and got a job and went on to get a home as well. And that job paid them enough to be able to support family. And it wasn't because you had to do 2 jobs to make I mean, most of Europe is about 50% renting, 50% ownership, and home ownership figures are sinking as people have to give up the homes they've known over years. This was supposed to be an area where Boris really wanted to concentrate on, so something's clearly going wrong. I don't have an immediate answer, but we've been meeting with young people to actually talk about their fears, their concerns on this, because that is an absolute priority. As I said, I've met many parents who've lost a child to knife crime, and it's absolutely horrific. We've got to make certain that that is an absolute top priority for policing, but it requires a presence on the streets. On the question of discrimination in employment,
at the moment it's clearly not going to be open in time for the Olympics, and it's become the most expensive cable car in human history. We'll have to finish it, but I have to say, get a mayor that actually pays attention to the bottom line and the detail, because these things go wrong if it's just a grand gesture.
And I will prioritise that, because you paid for that in your council tax. It was a clear deal that was done, and there can be no justification for moving police away from it. And the woman who said we should get this police out from behind the desk and get them to come back to start rebuilding the bus service again and continuing its expansion. Because if it gets worse, people will start using their cars again. So all those priority things that we did will carry on. On the question of South East trains and the comparison between their service and what we did with the overground, I mean, if people can remember how bad the North London line was, that's when Motorway never went up there, it was the absolute worst railway line, and we took it over, merged it with East London line, we now got the overground. It's just been voted Britain's best railway. That cost £1.25 billion, which is a lot of money, but is peanuts in terms of most major